So, this video is another one that's pretty different from the sort of thing I usually do, but it's something I really wanted to share just in the interest of spreading a bit of positivity, and to talk about something that had a real emotional impact on me, although I sure as hell don't expect many people to react as strongly as I did. If this video doesn't interest you, I totally understand, and I'll get back to the gaming stuff before long. Although actually, this video is about games too, albeit a rather different type of games, the Olympic Games. Specifically the 2012 London Olympics. But having said that, I'm not going to be talking about the games part of the games. Instead I want to talk about the opening ceremony, and why a particular perspective of the opening ceremony is possibly my favourite video on YouTube. Like my last video, it's a bit tough to know what to use as vision for this one. I'm using two sources. One is the original broadcast of the ceremony, and the other is, well, you'll see. I'm assuming I'll get a copyright claim for the broadcast, either the visuals or the music, which is fine. The IOC is welcome to the 10 cents this video might make, but I'll have to hope it doesn't prevent it from being shown at all. The other video I'm using, though, is something shot by an individual, and I really don't want to be taking anything away from them. So I'll just show what I think is crucial and strongly recommend you go to their channel to see it in full. Links in the description. Anyway, in general, I'm not a massive fan of the Olympic Games. I'm not patriotic enough to care about how many medals Australia wins, although it's usually quite a few. I'm not particularly interested in most sports in general, and especially not the most popular Olympic sports like track and field or swimming. However, I am kind of a fan of pageantry and flashy choreographed spectacles, and it doesn't get much flashier or more spectacular than the Olympic opening ceremony. The ceremony for the Sydney Olympics in 2000 was fantastic, and filled me with a national pride that I don't often experience. Beijing in 2008 was an epic display of technology and synchronization. I enjoyed them both. But then there was London 2012, and I didn't just enjoy the opening ceremony, I found it to be a genuinely profound experience. In this video I'm going to be referring mostly to the first half hour or so, which is basically a whirlwind tour of Britain's modern history through the Industrial Revolution and the key developments that have made Britain what it is today, or at least what it was in 2012, which, as you might be aware if you follow British politics, is kind of different to what it is today. In any case, this sequence remains, for me, the best thing I've ever seen on broadcast TV. Some of the reasons for this are difficult to put into words, but the biggest of them is easy to name: the music. I talked briefly in my video on Res about Underworld, the British electronica outfit, and how they're my favourite currently active musicians. The music in this first section of the opening ceremony was composed mostly by Rick Smith, one of the members of Underworld, and I rank it amongst the best of his creative output. It's a pounding, percussion-driven piece with harsh synths and keening vocals that build upon each other into a tempestuous violence. It's an astonishing choice, an ultra-modern, challenging piece that's a million miles away from the pomp and circumstance you might expect from a quintessentially British event. Although there is plenty of pomp thrown into the opening ceremony at different points. Unexpected as it is, the music fits the action perfectly. And the action, too, is breathtaking. And so it should be. The director of the opening ceremony, the overall creative force, was Danny Boyle, one of Britain's best directors. He's perhaps best known for Trainspotting, which I count as one of the best British films ever made.
It's shite being Scottish!
And maybe less well known for Sunshine, which I'd say is one of the most underrated sci-fi films of recent decades. He's also known for his frequent collaborations with Underworld, so it's perhaps natural that he chose to work with Rick Smith once again. Natural maybe, but to have two of my personal favourite creators working together on something as grandiose as the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games seemed like a miracle to me. This opening section, entitled Pandemonium, is, as I said, a retelling of Britain's recent history. It's pageantry of the highest order and on a massive scale. The entire stadium is swarmed with people bursting from the hills like ants, and the green and pleasant land is changed, rent asunder, some might say devastated. The grass is torn from the earth and great monoliths of the industrial age rise from the ground. More and more people from all walks of life flood the stage, as in the centre a giant iron ring is forged. Eventually, as the music builds and builds, it rises into the air, where it joins with 4 others in an explosion of fireworks. The percussion in the music fades, and as the sparks rain down, it swells into a harmonious surge of incredible beauty. This is simply the most amazing moment I've ever witnessed on TV, and it still fills me with awe. It's a colossal achievement of spectacle and coordination, of planning and artistic audacity. It's filled with a sense of achievement and pride that made me proud to be British, and I'm not even British, although my great-grandparents were. It is, I repeat, my favourite thing that I've ever seen on broadcast TV. But that's not my favourite video on YouTube. This is.
Children down to the bottom of the steps. Everybody still.
It's the same section of the opening ceremony, but viewed from a very different perspective. This is the head cam of one performer, one worker ant amongst the swarm. We also get the audio, what the performers were hearing, guiding them through the choreography and keeping them in time. It would be a fascinating glimpse into any large-scale production, but here it's a truly awe-inspiring insight into everything that had to happen to pull off something like this, all the little technical frills and flourishes that bring it together.
Strike, go!
Go kids, go!
Like the basic click tracks, so simple compared to the thundering percussion of the soundtrack. But it's not the technical side of things that really gets to me, it's the humanity behind it. The planning, the preparation, the props, the engineering, the choreography, the contingencies. It all had to happen so this one person, and thousands like them, could all work together to create an enduring tribute to the nation. Seeing it all like this makes it all somehow much more personal than seeing it from above or through the TV cameras on the ground. And it makes the theme of unity so much more powerful, more meaningful, when you see all the other people scurrying around, performing their own tasks, but marching to the beat of the same drum, or click track. It all culminates again in the forging of the rings. The performers gather around the entire stadium and gaze up at what they have wrought. But whereas the TV broadcast had the music and a rather dry announcer, the performers heard something different, the voices of the directors who had been guiding them along the way.
And turn. Look at what you did. Look at what you did. So proud. Well done. Lap it up, guys. Enjoy what you're looking at, because you guys did it.
There is such pride in her voice, such triumph, it fills me with emotion every time. And I find it easy to imagine the pride that everyone in that stadium must have felt in that moment. And then the next day some sport happened, I guess. I've heard people say of the 2012 Olympics that it was the last time the country truly felt united in celebration, that everything has gone to shit since then. Normally I'd tend to dismiss a sentiment like that as the fairly typical back in my day rose-tinted glasses that come with any form of nostalgia. But considering Britain's recent political history, I have to concede there may be something to it. But hey, if Britain was wiped out by Godzilla tomorrow, this is a pretty good thing to be able to point to and say this was our last moment of unity. I hope you've got something out of this video and can maybe appreciate just why I love that opening ceremony so much. To be honest, I've really been quite understated in the depth of feeling it inspires in me. When I was talking about my love of Final Fantasy music in a video a while back, I said that if I could truly get across just how strong a response it draws out of me, you might start questioning my emotional stability. The same is true here. Let me put it this way, this is the first time that my video making process has been slowed down by the fact that I can't watch the source material without bursting into tears. That might sound like a joke. It's not. And I recommend once again that you go and watch the entirety of the video, the behind the scenes video anyway, and preferably most of the opening ceremony as well, if you've got the time. It really is worth it. And one last bit I want to show, it's not exactly an emotional moment, but it was cool for me, and I can't imagine I'll ever get a chance to bring it up again. I went to high school with this girl. We were in a lot of the same classes. Belinda Snell, her name is. She was responsible for this moment in the Olympic Games that went viral. But for me, the best moment was just seeing someone from my hometown walk into the arena, improbably accompanied by one of my favourite tracks from Underworld, who, as I've said before, are probably my favourite musicians performing today. That was cool. Well, thanks for watching this little foray into positivity. My last video did really well by my standards, got a few new subscribers, so I might as well mention that I've got a Discord server with not many people in it, but do please stop by if you feel like it. I've also got a second channel where I live stream occasionally, so drop in for a chat maybe. Links in the description. Until next time though, get off my lawn.